Okay, let's dive into this paper because honestly, it sort of flips the script on a major killer in cancer. We've always thought that cancer-associated cachexia, CAC, that awful wasting syndrome, that it was basically just about how big the tumor was. But this new research suggests something else entirely. It looks like it's actually driven by a faulty nerve pathway. They found that just by blocking the right vagus nerve, they could rescue body mass, stop the muscle wasting, and actually extend survival. And get this, even while the tumor itself kept growing.
That really is the headline finding. Yeah. And it's pretty huge. You could essentially reframes CAG. I mean, this thing is responsible for maybe 30% of all cancer deaths, right? And now we're seeing it not just as this inevitable consequence of having a tumor, but maybe as a treatable circuit problem, something kind of decoupled from the tumor itself.
Right. So just for a quick background, CAC, is that really devastating involuntary weight loss, the muscle wasting? We don't really have a cure for it currently.
Exactly. And the vagus nerve, well, that's the main highway, you could say, for information between the brain and the gut, especially the liver. It's crucial for regulating metabolism.
So the researchers basically asked, okay, what happens to this highway when cancer is in the picture? Does it get messed up?
That was the starting point. And the first thing they did, looking at figure 1, was to actually listen in on the vagus nerve's electrical activity. They used electrical recordings, ENGs, in mouse models of cachexia.
And what did they find?
They found the signaling got really noisy. The overall activity, like the root mean square, went way up in the mice with tumors. And here's the kicker, this hyperactivity, this sort of electrical screaming, started before the mice showed any obvious signs of weight loss.
Before the symptoms even appeared. Wow, what causes that?
Well, they traced it back to systemic inflammation, which is common with cancer. Specifically, higher levels of a signaling molecule, a chemokine called CCL2. So the tumor itself is pumping out these signals that basically turn the volume way up on the vagus nerve.
Okay, so the nerve is hyperactive early on because of inflammation. The logical next step then, I guess, is figure 2, right? What if you could just silence that nerve?
Exactly. So they performed a surgical procedure, a right cervical vagotomy. Basically, they cut a specific segment of the vagus nerve on the right side.
Hold on, cutting the vagus nerve, isn't that risky? I mean, it controls a lot of basic functions.
That's a fair point, and it's definitely a consideration.
Yeah.
But they targeted a specific part, the right cervical branch, thought to be key for this liver communication pathway. And the results were, well, pretty striking. The surgery significantly limited weight loss. It helped preserve both lean mass and fat mass. And looking at the muscles themselves, like the gastrocnemius, there was much less atrophy, better grip strength too. And critically, it led to a statistically significant increase in lifespan for these mice.
Okay, this is the point that really makes you think, though. The tumors were still roughly the same size in both groups, the ones with the vagotomy and the ones without. So if the tumor burden is similar, why did just blocking that nerve signal have such a profound effect on body composition and survival? What's the actual mechanism there?
Yeah, that's the key question they tackled next. And the answer, it seems, lies in the liver. It all comes back to metabolism. What they found, especially in figure 4, is that this constant vagal hyperactivity basically shuts down a master regulator in the liver, a transcription factor called HNF4. When the nerve is overactive, HNF4 levels plummet. And since HNF4 controls tons of essential liver functions like protein metabolism, the urea cycle, the liver's metabolic machinery just collapses.
Ah, I see. So the hyperactive nerve isn't directly causing wasting, but it's telling the liver to shut down vital metabolic programs leading to that systemic collapse. And the vagotomy prevents that shutdown.
Precisely. By cutting the nerve signal, they prevented the depletion of HNF4, allowing the liver to maintain its crucial metabolic functions, which in turn preserve body mass and extended life.
Okay, that makes sense. But, surgery isn't exactly a practical, scalable solution for most cancer patients.
Right, and that's where figure 7 comes in, and it's arguably the most exciting part for potential translation. They tested a non-invasive approach. They developed this patch, basically. It delivers a low-frequency alternating current through the skin, they call it tLFACb, to block the nerve signals non-invasively. Applied it for just 30 minutes a day.
A patch? Seriously? And did it work like the surgery?
Remarkably, yes.
Yeah.
The tLFACb patch essentially replicated the surgical results. They saw, again, much better weight retention, preserved muscle, the mice were more active, eating better, and crucially, significantly improved survival in these cachexia models. It really strengthens this idea of CACase as a neurometabolic circuit disease that we can actually target.
That's incredible. A non-invasive patch achieving similar results to cutting the nerve.
And maybe the biggest implication here for listeners thinking about treatment. This electronic blockade worked synergistically with standard chemotherapy. like cisplatin. When they combined the patch with chemo, the survival benefit was nearly double what they saw with chemo alone.
Wow, double the survival benefit. That's
Pretty much, that's
that's
it.
potentially transformative. Okay, so let's quickly recap the main points here. One, cancer can trigger this early hyperactivity in the vagus nerve, likely through inflammatory signals like CCL2.
2. This nerve dysfunction messes up the liver by depleting a key regulator, HNF4, leading to metabolic collapse and cachexia.
And three, blocking this vagal hyperactivity, even non-invasively with something like a patch, can reverse cachexia symptoms and significantly extend survival, especially when combined with chemo.
Exactly. It shifts the paradigm. And it offers a potential supportive care strategy that seems safe. They did initial tests in pigs with no obvious damage.
Okay, so final thought then. If this vagal hyperactivity kicks in before the symptoms of cachexia are obvious,
Well, it raises a really interesting possibility, doesn't it? Could we potentially monitor vagal nerve tone, maybe non-invasively, as an early warning system? Could it help predict which patients are at high risk for developing cachexia? Maybe allowing us to intervene even earlier before the wasting really takes hold. That's something to think about.
Welcome to the Everyday Journal Club. I'm Hope, a biologist with 15 years of research experience, now fortunate to be working in a Nobel Prize-winning lab. This channel has three main goals. 1. To help you stay effortlessly updated on the latest scientific breakthroughs. No paywalls, no jargon overload. 2. To build a supportive community where we can exchange the most valuable experience-based research advice. 3. To share valuable strategies and concrete examples on how to achieve meaningful scientific breakthroughs. Once we reach 1,000 subscribers, I'll begin releasing content focused on the third goal. Let's go! Let's make great science together.